But just going off of his,
Good afternoon, everyone. Tanika and I were just talking behind the scenes, and so she got caught as we were going live, but that's okay because this is the way we roll, guys. This is the way we roll. How are you
this
this
is
Sunday
Tamika
afternoon?
God. I am good. Been cleaning all morning long. So it's been good. It's been a good day. How about you?
It's been a busy day. I'm coming to you because the sunlight is just piercing through my bedroom window. So I don't have on a ring light or anything, but my bedroom, it just, you see the hills and stuff like that. And so I'm just coming through with natural lighting today.
I look a little dark. I might need my ring light on today.
You
Do I
might,
look a little dark?
while we were talking, you know.
Well, let me run and do that real quick. It's right there. So give them the
Okay.
topic for the day.
So today's topic is it's pretty, but is it functional? And we all saw, well, most of us, a lot of us, I didn't see it until Friday, the interview with Oprah, Meghan Markle, and Harry, Prince Harry. Um, and we have our own thoughts on that interview. And then we have other like business stuff that we wanted to talk to you, a twist on it. So I will get started. I saw like I missed a half an hour of it, but what I saw, I wasn't really interested in the mental health piece because I know that that was played over and over and over in the media. Um, and I have my own views on that, but I don't want to put that out there only because I don't want, to seem whatever. Um,
Insensitive.
sensitive. I am sensitive to the fact that she has mental health issues. I am sensitive to that because, that's a serious, topic today. And all of us have some kind of mental illness, whether we want to admit it or not. We all got something going on with us.
But
And some
I
of us
know
is
you.
deeper. Hmm.
I just want to say, because I hadn't seen the interview with Oprah, I'm behind on everything. But just to say that part right there, she was in the castle. So we don't know the magnitude. I mean, we can deal with pressure. Who cares about our little friends? We got 5, 10 friends who might talk bad about you, people that got something to snitch about. She's dealing with nations, countries, and in the house. So she has pressure all around. So that can be a big tolerance. I mean, we suffer with pressure from 5 or 10 people, work, school, family, so-called friends, that can do us wrong. But when you have countries and nations that's going after you, but
I
anyway,
totally
to the
agree with
topic.
that. I totally agree with that. I thought the interview was very good. Um, Definitely we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And that was the whole point. She's smiling and she's presenting herself for the cameras and for the people, but they're dogging her in the media and she's doing nothing wrong, or does she have a little bit of a hand, but she wants to play the victim? I'm not going to say she's playing the victim, but we do know that in all of the newspapers, and the Queen has pull. She could tell the magazines and stuff to stop hammering on her. She
Mm-hmm.
did not do that. She let it continue and let it continue. So that would take a toll on you mentally because everybody's coming after you and you did nothing wrong. Or they're blowing out maybe a proportion of what she did do. They might be taking it to the extreme. I'm not going to say she's
Right.
totally innocent, but I'm not going to say she's totally guilty either because they just ran away with it. But go ahead.
I ain't got nothing. So it's beautiful. I love it. The castle is nice and huge. It's wonderful, but is it functional? Because, like you said, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and you can see that in every arena. I think that's why some of the other celebrities stepped up. Beyonce called her and said, "Hey, girl, I'm proud of you for standing up and speaking pretty much your truth." Serena Williams came behind and said, "Girl, I
Serena is
know
one of
what
her
it's
best friends.
I know, but Serena has dealt with this throughout her career. Remember, she was talked about her and her sister because of their body, their figure, their musculature,
Even
and
today,
their hair and their complexion, just everything. And that's nations and countries again that they're fighting up against, to be themselves and who they are. So even though Like we've taken it to Serena, even in the sports arena. You winning all these trophies and medals and everything, and they're praising you on the outside, but they still dogging you and who you are on the other side. When they are asking her, are you ready to retire? And she just breaks down for that, all of the mental, because it's like, are y'all saying as a country, as a nation, as other countries, your season is up. We love you, but, so it's really hard. It's a lot of pressure being in a public eye.
It is, and we as the commoners, we would not know how much pressure it is to be in that. And like I said, one of the housewives came out real negative, talking about, oh, it must be really hard being a princess living in a castle, what every girl dreams of. And she had to recant her tweet because it was so insensitive, and she doesn't know what was going on behind the scenes. So that was the day before the interview. The day after, she had to issue an apology for what she said. That's why you can't judge. You can't look at me and think, oh, Tisha has this, that, and the other. So, she must have it easy, because you don't know what we went through to get here. Even a little bit that I have, you don't know how hard I had to work to get the little bit that I have or the lot that I have.
hmm I agree. And so that's where it comes in with it's beautiful on the outside. Thank you guys for joining Twin This. This is Tanika Gillard. I am naturally yours.
And this is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
Yeah, so we're just talking about things that look good on the outside, but really are not good on the inside, or it could be the other way. It could be ugly on the outside, but very functional. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just going to take our life, for a moment, growing up forced to care, home to home, different situations in the life, but it brought us to this point now, so those ugly things kind of made us beautiful people because it made us sensitive to others that are different, or that are like us in some ways, and it helps us to be better for our community and our people. So those ugly things can also be beautiful things as well, can turn out to be beautiful things. It might be ugly at the time, but it'll turn into something beautiful.
Yes. So also we were talking about like jobs. Your resume might be look good on paper, but then when you get to the job, you can't function because not that it's all lies, but it's pretty much not the truth, you know. So on paper, it might say that you are functional, but you really don't know the job that you're getting into. So that
Right.
was another thing that we were talking about.
Well, on the job side, I would say um, people want advancement. So a lot of times people will say, yeah, I want to get that higher position. Until they get into the position, it looks good. The position looks really good. I want to be in management. I want to do this and that and the other. You get the job, it's not as pretty as it seems. That's just like all of the traveling nurses and things like that now. And, even my sister-in-law, our sister-in-law was like, hey, in Indiana, they paying this amount, for sign-on bonuses. I'm like, hey, if they paying that much, that means you really working, or there's something really lacking, because they're not just giving that money for free. You ain't going to just get there and it's going to be easy breezy,
Mhm.
So just because the position looks good doesn't mean that it's fit for you. You have to, sometimes you just got to say no.
Yes. And then we were talking on the beauty side, how you were mentioning the Marcel irons. Now, when I was in school, um, the other students found that to be very archaic. But like we were discussing behind the scenes, they're very functional today. If it weren't for those Marcel irons, you wouldn't have the curling irons that you have today that may be a little healthier for the hair. But those Marcel irons are still very functional today. They hold a curl to me better than the irons of today, the
Yes,
electric irons.
yes, yes, because even the flat irons, the Marcel, the old ones, those seem to get it flatter than the new flat irons that people use today, the electric ones.
Yes, but those it is more damaging for the hair, you know.
I understand. Because you can burn it off, you can sear it.
Yes, 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 yes.
hmm
So
hmm
it may be functional, it may be pretty, but is it functional? You just got your bathroom remodeled. Talk to us about that. That's another sample.
Yeah, my daughter's handicapped. If you don't know, if you just joining or meeting the twinness, I have a handicapped daughter who's in a wheelchair, and so the shower has to be accessible for her. And we got it done this week, and the workers did a nice job. The bathroom is pretty, but when I went to use it, it was the first time me putting her in there. It was not as functional as it needs to be for her care, for what I needed to do. So although I can get in there and take a shower easily, it's still not doing the job that I was paying you to, for the function that I need. I need to be able to get her in, no lumps and bumps and bruises. I need to be able to give her a shower without water being everywhere all over my floor. And so it's pretty, but it's not functional. And so now, and this is for anything. When it's not functional, now you have to come back and correct it or redo it. So if you took that position that you thought was going to be the better position for you, now you got to go back and say, I don't want this. Let me backtrack, or you're going to either have to step it up and make it better. So you're going to have to figure out a way to make that career bloom, even though it wasn't what you expected in the beginning. So long story short, my bathroom will be corrected, but I'm hoping, this is another tip, I'm hoping that it's not worse while you're trying to continue to fix it instead of getting better. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we could try to fix, and we just digging a hole and making it worse.
And that's where that saying, measure twice, cut once comes in. They would have done the job that they needed to do with looking at, she needs to get the wheelchair over the transitions, etc. She needs the drain to go downward. These are things, if you would have measured once, twice, and cut once, it would have been avoided. They wouldn't need to come back, and it would be okay.
And I am not a contractor or anything, and I did mention those things when he came in. So I'm not sure if you didn't understand what I was saying. I don't know if you seeing it up close and personal after the work is done. Now you see what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if you've had experience doing a handicapped bathroom. And that might have been the one thing I should have asked. Yes, you do bathrooms, but have you ever done a handicap accessible bathroom? So that might have been something I should have asked, although I did mention the sloping drain and making sure that it doesn't, the water doesn't get everywhere. And I also always mention the gradient. No gradient on it. So,
It's
you know,
pretty, but it's not functional. Are you functional? You know, and we take ugly to mean it's not worth anything. Is a lot of times you have to, what did I say? Like when you're digging for diamonds, you got to go through the rough to get to that gem. So just because it's ugly, it might be ugly in the beginning, but you keep working at it, it can become a beautiful thing. So don't discount just because it's ugly that it's not worth anything. Because just because you're pretty, that doesn't mean that you're worth something, you know?
that's right. You could be pretty and be very, very ugly.
Let me tell
Pretty
you,
on
I
the
had
outside.
gotten a backhanded compliment many years ago when I was working in New York, and it was, "You're too pretty." Like the person thought it was a guy, it was like a sexist remark. Like he thought that I was too pretty to be able to cook and clean. Like I didn't know how to cook and clean. But you obviously don't know me. So for you to even make a statement like that, um,
Hmm.
thank you for the compliment that I'm pretty or I'm beautiful, but don't assume that because I'm pretty that I don't know how to cook and clean. That was very insulting. You know what I mean?
And on my effect, I was working nursing, and a patient asked me, male, of course, do I cook? And I said, no, I don't cook. Like I'm not much of a cook. And he says, well, how do you eat, or how does your husband eat? Like, how does my family eat? And anybody that knows my family knows that nobody in this house is starving for food. Um, in fact, my daughter got to lose 30 pounds. So even the dog is overweight. But so it's like, no, I don't, I have other skills, and I just don't have no interest in cooking, and don't just assume that just because I'm a woman that I should have to know how to cook or want to cook.
Okay.
You
And
know,
there's our opposite. And there's our opposite.
Okay.
There's the twinless right there.
Yes.
There's the twinless guys right there. So I'm one that will cook and clean. And Tanika's not saying that she won't clean, but she's telling you now she won't cook. She cleans, but she's not trying to cook.
No, and let me correct you on the cleaning, because even mom would know I have to be in a mood to
I wasn't gonna
clean.
put
And
that
when
out
I'm
there,
going
Nikki. I
to
wasn't
clean,
gonna put that out
hey,
there.
I'll put it out there. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, the house is good. It's livable. You can come in, everything is where it needs to be. However, it takes me a minute to get to the dusting part. Like that's like, okay, but when I'm in it, I'm in it. So y'all leave me alone. Don't judge me. I got enough going on in my life. I don't need y'all's
No
thoughts and
judgment here.
views.
No judgment here. All right, so we were talking about it's pretty, but is it functional? And we were started off by talking about the Oprah Winfrey interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. The conversation is not about them leaving the castle and all of that. It was about more so not knowing what goes on behind the scenes, and that's us. So many times we were quick to judge people, but we don't know what they're actually going through. And it's not even really about the mental health. This society today, we're so quick to be critical, so quick to judge, so quick to get on the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook and start bashing somebody, but you don't know if that person is on the brink of whatever. They could be on the brink of greatness or the brink of suicide, and you don't know what's going to take them to the tipping point for either way.
Right, right. It was something you were saying about if it's okay. So like this buffet behind me, that's a dresser, but everyone I use it. I mean, so the functionality of it. You say it's a dresser drawer. I say it's a buffet table. So we had some things have different functions. You could use it for a different purpose than what it was meant to be. So that's an example that, in those top drawers, there's good chinaware and things like that. But hey, I might have some clothes in the other drawers. It's functioning, it's serving its purpose for what I needed to do. It's the same thing with medications. Doctors will prescribe a certain medication that's used for one thing, like blood pressure, but it can also have another effect, like put you to sleep. So we all know, like Benadryl is used for allergies, but sometimes, every now and again, we give our kids a little Benadryl to make them go to sleep. But you got to be careful with that, you guys. Just a side note, sometimes it can
Yes,
have an
please.
adverse reaction. It'll keep y'all up at night instead of putting y'all to sleep or your kid to sleep. But anyway, so the point is it functional? Is it functional for what you needed to do or to be? You're pretty. Are you functional? Can you handle the stress? Can you handle the job? Can you deal with the weight? What's going on in the household? What is it? So it could be ugly, but is it functional? Sometimes those ugly things, like we said before, turn out to be the most beautiful things, or lessons. So y'all just chime in and let us know what y'all think, because, hmm, you know.
And what you were mentioning about your dresser behind me, I don't know if you see that brown, it's almost to the ceiling. It's an armoire. And a lot of people
Oh,
will say that that's a closet, like you would use it for a closet. However, when we open it up, it's our TV in there. So we close it to keep it, you don't need to see what size TV we have. So we close it. And then when Walter and I want to sit on the couch in our bedroom, to watch that TV, we will open it and watch that TV. Actually, we watched Coming to America using that armoire, but then there's a second TV in my bedroom, another huge one, but it's near where the bed is, and that's where we watch TV if we're in bed. So, but the armoire, it's functional as a closet, or as for us, our TV is in there.
yeah. So
Uh-oh,
I want to
here
say
comes
thank you
Renee.
guys
Renee, I
for
can always
joining us.
count on you being here.
Sade is here too, Tisha. Sade is
Hey,
here.
Sade.
But I want to say thank you guys for joining. Thank you for catching the replay. We are just talking about functionality. It's pretty, but is it functional? We was talking about Meghan Markle living in the castle and that life there. But it's pretty on the outside, but on the inside, it was eating her up. It was eating up her self-esteem and everything like that. So just because it's beautiful, what you see on the outside might not necessarily reflect what's going on the inside. But see, we're not talking about mental health. We're not dealing with that. But I'm just going to touch on that just for a moment. because people see you made up and they don't really know what you're really going through. You know what I'm saying? So I guess in that sense, that's what she was doing as well. She's made up because she has to deal with the public. She's a public figure, but she's really broken on the inside. So, and I could understand that, because even in my world with the functionality with Rain, and people always like, well, you look good, but I also get you look tired, you look tired, but I'm functional. I'm functional. So it's all good. It is what it is. We have our up days, we have our low days, but I'm still functional. I make it work to my best advantage. Mr. Man that thinks that every woman needs to know how to cook. Sorry.
Oh, I think you touched a nerve. But my
Yes.
daughter and I was talking this morning because I don't know, she's on whatever she's on, Snap, whatever it is, TikTok, whatever. And they were having like this big debate about if you have surgery, uh, plastic surgery, that you suffer from low self-esteem. So, and Ray went in and she was saying to her that would be a low self-esteem issue. But if it was reconstructive surgery, that's different. So she was being clear, she feels like plastic surgery is cosmetic, which is true, and reconstructive is something different. And she feels like if you have plastic surgery, it's more of a low self-esteem issue as opposed to a reconstructive surgery. So that was a big debate with her this morning. So it's pretty, but is it functional? Is ugly? Is it functional? And I felt like there's an argument for her to have. I'm not going to jump in that one, but I thought it was very interesting, her point of view on that.
Yes, I love it because she's young. She's only what, 15?
Yes. But she
And so
feels
she
like
has a lot.
a lot to say. You're not gonna if you love your nose, for example, you're not gonna get surgery, but if you feel insecure about your nose, now you're gonna have that um plastic surgery. But if
Rhinoplasty,
your nose is
rhinoplasty.
broken, then yeah.
Hmm.
But if your nose is broken, you're gonna have it reconstructed and fixed back. Not You're not trying to make it smaller or anything like that. You're trying
I
to
get it.
you know so I thought that was very smart of her and very
It
insightful for
is.
her at 14 years old to be able to say
Mm-hmm.
that. Her birthday is coming up in
Hmm.
a couple of weeks, so
Yes, yes.
yes, Renee.
Now,
Yes, Renee. Smiles often hide
right.
tears.
Yes, Renee. But we wasn't just looking at it from psychological point of view today. We were looking at it just all the way around as a broad spectrum. Sometimes people take jobs that it looks good, like the job looks so awesome. I'm going to have the company car. I'm going to be able to travel and be away from my family 52 weeks out of the 52-week year. I'm going to be able to do this and another. And it looks so good until they actually start doing the job. And it's like, oh, what did I get myself into? Sometimes it looks good, but is it really what you anticipated? We talked about this pandemic and how nurses are just going everywhere. I know one of my clients was telling me one nurse, she went to New York, loved it there. Then they sent her to Miami, hated it. Sent her to Texas, hated it. But now you in these contracts, you got to do the work, so right now, we're just talking about it in general. So what looks good is not necessarily what is good, and sometimes stepping back, reflecting, thinking about it, because like I said, it's not all good. But then those ugly things that look ugly to us might be the most beautiful thing. Like, I don't want to, okay, my job, for example, I was not sure if I was going to take the job that I have now, because it requires me to do a lot of traveling. And I'm like, I don't drive like that in the city. That's just not my groove. And so I took the job. I love it. I love it. I love who I deal with. I love my population of people. Even though I have to go out and drive, and that's a risk every day, Lord, I'm thankful to be covered. But it's certain parts of it I don't like, but I love the job overall. So it was an ugly position. I really had to marinate on that, but I really love it after all. So some
Back
things
to
look good.
back to
Hmm.
Megan. She loved being in the castle and she loved her job. If they would have let her keep the job, you know what I mean? But it was the
Hmm.
constant badgering. It was a constant being in the paper, and of course Kate was made to be like us being twins. There's a good twin and a bad twin. It was made to look like Megan was the problem and the other Kate was all good. When it was, and then Kate was crying foul for things that she actually did to Megan that Megan didn't do to her. She flipped it and tried to make it like, oh, she's the victim, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
anyway.
I know what you mean, T. I know what you mean. So anyway, we want to say thank you guys for joining us and catching the replay. We're going to take a break from doing the hair videos for a little while, T.
Yes,
So,
yes,
but I think that we both got other things in the pot right now when it comes to that, to the hair portion. So I'm happy about that.
yes. And plus, you guys seem to like us more when we just have conversations with you. So we figured, okay, we'll have conversations with you, whether it's business or otherwise. You guys are really into our conversations. We look behind the scenes and see what is going on with the analytics, and you guys like for us to just talk to you. And so that's what we're here for. We're here for you. Yeah, we
Now,
know.
Renee, we know. We
We know.
know.
But see, there's an underlying thing there as well that I don't know that I'm able to say. So I can't put it out what I really want to put out because we are all not black until something happens. Then we're all of a sudden black, or we want to embrace our blackness. But in the beginning, we don't want to embrace that side. We want to, you know, say we're something else.
Identify.
Yes, we want
Yeah.
to identify as something else. I feel the same way about Camilla Harris, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show that will probably never air. So we're
So,
all
Renee, I
we're
hope you
all
could read
something
between
else
the
until
lines on
yeah,
that one.
she knows. So anything else?
No, no. So after this, T, I enjoy talking to you most of the time. So after this, though, I have another showcase that I've been asked to be on this afternoon around 4 my time, which is what's your time? 3 o'clock your time, 4 o'clock my time. So I don't know even what we're talking about. We're talking about hair textures and different skills just for the Birmingham, Alabama area. So it's going to be all of the top people on the panel. So I'm getting ready to do that in a minute. I ain't getting nothing
Okay.
done. I'm happy I got my work done this morning.
Well, let me tell you, my daughter, she's started a tennis. We're way off, Tanika. She's gonna start in tennis tomorrow, so I was happy that I got out. I know I hate shopping on Sunday, so I got out early. Soon as Dick's opened, I was there, and we got back home. And now my husband is out there in those streets. So, but for me now, it's
I'm gonna get in the streets for just a minute, just to get some dinner. Again, y'all, I don't cook, so I'm gonna go get some dinner, and then come right back and get ready for this evening. But thank you guys so much for your patience and y'all's understanding on us not doing a hands-on right now. We never know what's gonna happen over the summer. You never know. So thank you guys for joining Twinness.
yes, and we will see you on Wednesday night because there's another conversation to be had. I don't know when LP will be able to join us, but this conversation about coming to America, oh, it's causing such an uproar. I looked at it on an entertainment level. I wasn't looking deep into other matters. I was just looking for entertainment value, but it's gotten such
Hmm.
backlash that I feel like we need to talk about it. So we will be doing a
Yes.
review on Coming to America, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later.
Yes, I will contact Mr. LP and see if he's available on Wednesday evening.
Okay. And if it's not going to happen this Wednesday, we already have another subject for you guys on Wednesday. But the goal is to have LP on this Wednesday talking about coming to America, his views on it, because they're very strong views. And we will see you on Wednesday night, 7 p.m.
Yes,
Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we want to say thank you for joining us today and thank you for chiming in. Have a good Sunday.